Michigan Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON, Woonsocket Radio, ON, AM, and FM. Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Yes, let's do that. It's time for Coffee Ann on ON, AM, and FM on the last day of July 31st. In 2024. My name's Joe Callahan, and at the Coffee Ann table, let's say good morning to Robin Noter from St. Antoine Communities. Hi, Robin.
Good morning.
And Tim Draper from Navigate Credit Union after his worldwide travels.
Good morning, Joe.
Is back. Nice to have you back here.
Great to be back.
We're going to hear a little bit about Tim's trip coming up in just a bit. But first, Robin, time for your first message from the St. Antoine Communities, please.
St. Antoine Community is a large, long-term care campus located in North Smithfield on the line of Blackstone, Mass. and Woonsocket. On our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services. They range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care, as well as a state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, and 2 large secured memory care units. The 2 buildings on our property are the large villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the residence at St. Antoine, our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. If you are presently at a crossroad with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to either myself, Robin Noter, Director of Admissions for St. Antoine Residents, or Melissa Smith, St. Antoine Communities Director of Marketing and Communications, and we'd be happy to help you evaluate your options based on your present situation. You can reach either of us by calling our main line at 401-767-3500.
All right, Robin, very good. And how's the Primrose Lane? Everything going great over there?
Looking good. We opened up. We moved in 7 residents last week.
And Melissa was saying how thrilled they were.
Yes.
When they moved in, how beautiful it is.
Yeah, it's
all
very
the
nice.
amenities and how great it is.
Very nice. Encourage anyone to come out for a tour.
How many rooms are there again?
24.
24. Okay,
Yeah.
so 7.
Yep.
So you're still
Filling
moving people in?
Yep. They took 7 from the main assisted living and moved them over. So it is a secured memory care unit and assisted living. It's great.
All right. Glad it's going great.
Yes.
All right. So we were laughing with Tim earlier because he can't go away on vacation because everything happened when Tim was in Europe. There could be a conspiracy theory there. But,
Well, it's frustrating because you can't get the news
well, I
in
was going to
English.
ask, how did you, when you found out that Trump had the assassination attempt, how did you find out about it? Did
Yeah,
it on your phone, or did someone in Europe say, "Hey, look what happened in America"?
I got a text message from, I think it was my buddy here in the States who said, "Did you see the news?" And I went, no, I did not. So I turned on, we're 6 hours ahead, so I turned on the BBC, and it's all over the BBC about the assassination attempt. And we were like, holy cow. So then, of course, that's the topic of conversation for the next,
Days,
10 hours while we were awake. And, you can't, it's certainly not, in a way, I'm happy that I wasn't here, to be honest with you, because I'm sure that it was just overkill 24/7, the assassination attempt. Over there, it was the BBC. They had other news to cover, so they covered it pretty extensively. And then, and then they moved on to their other stories around the world that they have to cover. So, but we were all just floored, and I think at the time we thought, well, that seals the deal for him. He'll get the presidency, and then the next and then the next thing was the convention, which I was not here for.
Okay.
So he picked a running mate, which I don't think was the greatest running mate choice ever, but then. And then the next news to drop was Biden dropping out.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, well, it's not such a sealed deal for Trump anymore, and depends on who they pick. And then they pick Kamala, and it's like, I wonder what will happen here. All this stuff is going in the background, and I'm, you trying not to pay attention to it because I really am more interested in what we're doing on vacation, right? But it was just it was an interesting side story as we traveled through some of the absolutely beautiful scenery in Europe. So
were the Europeans, when they found out you were an American, did they want? What's going on? Have you seen what's happened?
I'll tell you a funny story.
All right.
We get in a cab in, I believe it was Switzerland the first day. And there's 6 of us traveling together. And we get in a cab, and the cab driver is one of those chatty guys. And the first thing he asks us is, "Hey, what's happening over in America?" And
Lots.
what's the political scene that you hear over there? And we're trying to be very neutral about it. And hey, listen, we don't have a lot of great choices. We're kind of stuck with having to pick somebody. And he says, "Well, I hope you pick Trump." And we went, "Wow, that's pretty direct."
Yeah.
From a cab driver, right? He goes, No, you don't understand. We know he's crazy, but he's the only guy in this race, and this at the time it was against Biden. He's the only guy in this race that can stand up to Putin and can stand up to the guy in China and the North Korean guy. He goes, he is the only person that can do that in that race. And I went, that's an interesting perspective from a European. They're afraid that if we don't elect somebody who's a strong leader and in fact can stand up to those guys, that
run roughshod.
Yeah,
over
that
Europe.
Putin's not done.
Yeah.
When he will finish off Ukraine, take it, and then he'll start moving on.
Moving on to other
That's what they're afraid, and they're afraid that China will go and they'll take Taiwan, and they'll do all the things they want to do in the Pacific North, and we're just going to not have any sort of leadership that can handle that. And we all just kind of looked at each other a little bit stunned, but that's a European perspective.
And they all, well, not all of them,
That's
but
one
the
European
majority.
perspective.
That's
You
one
think the majority
European
think of it?
perspective. Yeah, it's one European perspective, exactly. But it's not a perspective I would have thought from any
No,
European.
no, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it was interesting from that. But that was like day one, and we were thinking,
That was
oh
something.
boy, this is just not going to be
I
good.
know.
And then
Go on
it
vacation.
never reared its head again after that. But yeah, it was a great trip. I've never done a 2-week unplug.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get back to work. I couldn't call into work because we're blocked, security wise,
Yeah.
making sure that there's nothing crazy going on. So I couldn't check my emails. I couldn't answer anything that was coming through. I did have a WhatsApp was the name of the app that I could talk back to my kids and some friends. And I could check into work. I did have it set up with one other person, with Kelly at work. So I knew if I needed to, somebody would be able to get in touch with me, but they didn't need me. So
And so this was a river cruise, a boat
Was-
on
was a
river
river
cruise that
cruise,
you went
right.
on. So
Yeah.
you've done the other cruises before. So
I
did you like this one as much?
I did actually like it a little more.
Okay.
I mean, I love the big cruises, but when you go on a big cruise ship and you go to the Caribbean and stuff, the cruise ship is your attraction, right?
Yeah.
It's there's 24/7 food. I get ice cream at 3 a.m. It's a beautiful thing. You can the shows and casinos and lots of activity and life and all that other stuff. A river cruise is 150 people on a longboat. Beautiful boat.
Yeah.
Beautiful boat. Very attentive service. But the ship is not the attraction. The ship is to get you from point A to point B. And then at point B,
That's
you go off
where-
on your
that's the
excursions.
attraction.
Right.
Yeah,
The attraction is
okay.
you go see the countryside. You see
Okay.
the culture.
Yep.
And the cruise was on the Rhine. So there's the German side of the Rhine and the French side of the Rhine for the most part. We actually spent more time in Germany than we did in France. But, biked through the vineyards along the Rhine River in Koblenz, Germany. We're in the Rheinstein Castle, which was a privately owned castle that they give tours of, and it's just like you would think a castle would
How
be.
old is the castle? When was it built? Like 1300 or?
Yeah, like 1400, I
Wow.
forget. Yeah,
That must be impressive to see.
it is impressive, and there's a spot on the Rhine. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Zone, they call it, and it's 25, 30 miles of the river that is dotted with 35 different castles. So some of them are ruins.
Wow.
Some of them are actually castles that are they do things in.
Yep.
And I was interested to learn that the castles on the river were essentially like the toll booths in New Hampshire. Because it's exactly what they did. As you came down the river with your cargo, you had to stop at the castle and pay a toll.
Pay the toll to the
You had to pay a
castle.
tax to the toll. Exactly.
Wow.
And we went to one I think it might have been Ramstein. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Had the largest barrel of wine, the largest oak barrel ever made, 55,000 gallons of wine. And it's this massive oak barrel in the basement of this castle. And
Was it full?
well, it wasn't full now, but what happened is this particular family didn't charge a physical tax. If you were a winemaker, you could pay in wine. So you could pay 10% of your wine, your whatever you make
Your
that
cargo.
year,
Okay.
and you come and you dump it in the big barrel. And so all the wine was in the big barrel. That was their tax. And I thought that'd be an interesting wine.
So it's a
There's
big mix.
some
Right,
mix.
big mix. In Germany and in France, in that region, they generally do white wines. They do they do the they do Pinot Noir for red, but they do a lot of Riesling. Riesling is like the wine.
Okay.
And there's several different types. There's a dry Riesling, and then in America we kind of know the sweet Rieslings, which are not my favorites at all. But over there, they make a lot of different types of wine with Riesling. And then there's Grunier and some other types of wines that they have. But it was fascinating, and we had a really good time. And Robin asked me earlier what I thought of Amsterdam, and I was very surprised. My perception of Amsterdam before traveling there was pot smoking, full of prostitution. That's what I
Yes.
thought. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the image that they paint. It is not at all. That part of the city is like maybe 5-10 blocks of the city. We went to the Anne Frank Museum, kayaked through some canals around the city. Very clean. The bikes are murderous, though. You got to look out because there's just bikes everywhere, and there's
I've heard
bike
that.
paths.
And you can just pick up a bike whenever you need one
Well, you
and
can.
drop it off.
You can. There are places like that. They're like the
Okay.
stuff around here, but mostly people just have their own bikes.
Their own. Okay.
Yeah, you can rent them.
Yeah.
They want you to rent bikes. There's a lot of rental places.
Okay.
But it was a lot of fun, and Amsterdam was. We went out to the windmills. There's a little touristy attraction that they've set up that's got like 6 or 7 windmills on a farm where they've used to pump out the water out of created levees, and they're making wooden shoes, which was actually kind of fun because they show you the guy hitting the hammer and the chisel and making the wooden shoe. The guy that did the demonstration goes, "Here, I put it in the machine," and go, see, 5 minutes later, I got a wooden shoe. I'm like, wow, okay, well, that's not quite the same thing I thought it was going to be, but and then they laugh about it. And cheese is big over there. It just, it's gives you a different perspective. And I had never been out of this, other than to London. I'd never been to Europe, so.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, and I will absolutely go back, and I'd like to go back to some of the places we went to and spend more time there.
And the people are friendly enough.
Very
to
friendly,
come up and
very
say,
friendly.
talk to
They're
you?
not like you ugly American type
Right, yeah.
things. We went to Brussels as a side trip after the whole thing was over. We were going to go to Paris, and then found out the Olympics were there, and said,
Yeah,
"Well, I
no,
guess we're not going to go
yes.
to Paris." But because the train system is so easy, we got one of the high speed trains from Amsterdam to Brussels, 2.5 hours. We were there. That was an interesting city. We happened to be there during their Independence Day, which is their #1 holiday of the year. So we were there with 500 million other people. But there was a big military parade and flyovers and celebrations and
They do
fireworks.
fireworks?
Oh yeah, they
Okay.
did them all. And it was nice. We stayed in a little sort of a boutique hotel, sort of outside the main part of the main city of Brussels. Not very easy to walk to though. Lots of walking. We walked at least 10 miles a day.
Wow.
And Brussels was a little more like New York City, I thought. It was a little more metropolitan, not quite as clean.
Does it make you wonder when you're dealing with the train system over there why we can't do that in the
Here.
United
It
States?
does. Every day we got on. I'm like,
Boston to New York, or New York to Washington D.C., or even New York to L.A. Why don't
Yeah.
we have these kind of high-speed things?
I think it's because the government subsidizes lots of it.
Yeah.
I do. And it's not just the trains that go out to the countryside. It's the internal, down the middle of the street trolleys like Boston has, right?
Okay.
There's tons of those everywhere. But it's almost like it fits in. The only thing that's unfortunate is you got to have the power lines overhead because those trains are all
Yes.
electric, so everything has to be electrified. So it's, there's not a lot of great
Aesthetic to it?
aesthetic to it, exactly. But from an efficiency standpoint,
Yeah.
it doesn't get much more. You walk in, you take your credit card, or you can buy a day pass. So it's then your phone. Tap your phone on the machine. You're in.
You're
Tap
in.
it on your way out. You're out. Done. Simple as that.
Now, when you look at the T in Boston, and I find that map terribly confusing.
Yep.
But not confusing when you're in Europe, and they've got a different language.
Yeah, no, it can be as confusing. I'm
Can it be?
afraid. Yeah,
Okay.
it can be. But it's done by color, so it's
All
like
right.
Boston.
Yeah.
If you want to walk around the city, it's the green line, and
Yeah.
if you want to go outside, you want to come. The commuter rail's purple. So.
All right.
In the case of Amsterdam specifically, there's like a red, orange, green, blue, and they indicate certain parts of the city. So if you want to go over here, you would take the orange line within the city bounds, and
Yeah.
it goes out probably 10, 15 stops, turns around and comes back. So it's not like it's really long,
Okay.
miles and miles and miles. It's just easier, jump on because you avoid the traffic. If you tried to drive in Europe, in a city, it's just there's lights everywhere, there's people everywhere.
There's bikes
It's
everywhere.
very slow, right? And you got to be very careful when you're driving in the city. The cab drivers, I don't know how they do it, or Uber drivers. And Uber was big there too. You could pick up an Uber pretty easily. But yeah, it was very, very well organized and run, I thought,
All right,
for
great.
public transportation.
And good flights in and out of the United States.
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
went fairly-
JetBlue flew right into Amsterdam,
Yeah,
and we did a
okay.
round trip out of Amsterdam. But then we did a quick flight to Switzerland to start the cruise. That's where it started in Basel. And I didn't realize that the Rhine goes from Lake Louise in Switzerland, which is their big lake in the middle of the country, and it goes down to the North Sea.
Yeah.
So we were going down the Rhine, which is with all the current. So in our case, a lot of the other thing with riverboats is they say that if it's the wrong time of the year, the rivers run low. Boats can't make it from one port to the next. So they throw you and your luggage on a bus, and then they move you to the next port where you grab another boat, and then
wow.
you go. So
Wow.
it can be a pain. It's also can be the rivers run too high and they can't get under the bridges, which is interesting too. So the same thing. In this case, the timing was perfect. The river was the right height.
Good.
And the boats are cool because, like the bridge and all of the stuff on the upper deck, they literally fold down when you go through. And the bridge too comes down on hydraulics, like into the belly of the ship.
Wow.
So you can get through the locks. So we sailed through 12 locks
Yeah.
from Basel to Amsterdam, and blocks are cool. I'd never been through a lock before. Like, this is fascinating, and but you still have to lower all that stuff to get underneath the gate
Yeah.
when they put you out on the river. So the mechanics of it and the way they did it was really kind of wild too. Interesting to watch.
All right, we're got good information there, Tim. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks
that-
for giving me the
that
time. It was
update.
fun.
That was great. All right, it's time for a second message, Robin, from the St. Antoine communities, and we'll take a break here on the Coffee and program.
Good morning again. Just want to talk briefly about anyone who is having an elective orthopedic surgery coming up and you are anticipating you're going to need a couple weeks of physical or occupational therapy. You can pre-book your stay in my rehab center. Just give me a call, give me the dates of the surgery and which hospital you're going to, and we can pre-book your stay. Just give me a call at 767-3500.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
No one ever. I don't think anyone ever thinks of doing that.
I have
Pre-booking
it
the
very
physical
rarely,
therapy?
but it's really good because
Wow.
yeah, we know what's coming in. They know where they're going. The hospital calls me early.
Yeah. Well, that's great. All right, more of the Coffee and program coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON, AM, and FM.
It is the Coffee and program on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and Robin Noter, and just other things going on. You get back just in time, Tim, for the big fire.
Oh, I know. Crazy, right?
In Woonsocket. And you saw pictures of that too, Robin?
I did, yeah.
That was
national news. It was so big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Every once in a while, it seems like that we lose another mill to a fire around here. I guess that's just. But there was some. I saw some before and after pictures online last night. So they showed the inside of the mill. I think from like a week ago, like not even that long ago, it looked pretty nice. It's not like it was an abandoned,
Rundown.
textile mill that had oil-soaked floors and nobody
Yeah.
took care of it, right? This was seemed like it was in pretty good shape, and they were going to do something with it too, right?
It was bought recently, and then when you hear different rumors, things going back and forth, and
Yeah.
who's going to help who, and then and nothing ever came of it. So, so they're still investigating, still trying to figure out what actually caused
Right.
the fire. And the best thing we mentioned yesterday and the day before, no one got hurt.
Right. Nobody
And
got hurt.
so that's great.
And you know, if there's-
firefighters got hurt,
It,
and like
if
that.
you like the mills and you're a history buff, I would recommend going over to the Museum of Work and Culture. They have a great
yeah.
electronic interactive table, the Mills of Woonsocket, and the Mills, I think it's Mills of Woonsocket, where they've got all the mills cataloged, and they have animations from each mill and some of the people who worked there talking about the mills when they were working there. It's a pretty fascinating exhibit. So Museum of Work and Culture.
All right. Also going on here in the city of Woonsocket, yesterday the mayor, Christopher Beauchamp, announced that effective yesterday, Christine Chamberlain will serve as the interim finance director for the city of Woonsocket. She has worked in multiple capacities within the city's finance department for the last 33 years. Currently, she's working as the city's enterprise fund finance administrator, a position she will continue while assuming the role of interim finance director.
She's not new to the city, right?
Oh no, she's been here for 33 years.
Yeah.
So she knows what's going on and been in that department for quite a while. So it's a good pick
Good, solid choice.
to take over. So we'll see how well she does in that capacity. All right, other things going on. I had to laugh because over the weekend, I don't know if you saw the massive dragonfly
Yes.
swarms attacking in Westerly.
Yeah.
And people panicking.
Yes.
I'm like, dragonflies don't do anything.
I know they don't
They
bite.
don't bite. They don't
No.
sting.
If people were thinking
And
it
they're
was the
supposedly bring good luck.
well, then those people are going to have
Oh.
a lot of luck on
Yes.
the beach.
So I guess maybe they didn't know they were dragonflies.
Yeah, maybe.
And, and they don't make noise.
It was an apocalypse. People thought it was an apocalypse.
They don't buzz either.
No, they don't make a lot of noise. But there were a lot of them. That was just weird.
Why were they there? Why were they swarming? And why were they at the beach?
I don't know. There was a story on it, and I
they
didn't.
go-
I didn't listen to the story,
Are
but
they going for the bugs? Is that what they eat mosquitoes?
to have the swarm like that, I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like that before. It was almost like an infestation.
Maybe they were migrating.
Maybe I would have been freaked out.
So so Robin, you live in Smithfield.
I do.
So the spraying starts in your town today for the lantern fly. This is an invasive species. We don't want them here.
Yeah.
And so the town is coming in. They're going to spray in Lincoln, North Providence, Pawtucket, Providence, and Smithfield.
What does the lanternfly do?
It affects it's a threat to crops
Oh.
and trees. Doesn't
Okay.
say exactly which trees.
Yeah.
Kind of all I can think of right off the bat was gypsy moths.
Right.
Caterpillar.
I hate when that
Maybe
happens.
they're just munching on the leaves.
Right.
And they got to deforest. What do they call it? Deforest the trees.
Yeah. Yeah. They take the leaves right off.
And I guess they have no natural
Predator?
predators.
Oh.
So
We gotta kill them.
that's why they're going.
Is it an
crazy.
actual fly?
It's a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fly.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why it's called a lanternfly. I think it's got to do with its markings
Oh, maybe.
on its back.
We're gonna look that up. That's
I'm
gonna be a
looking it
Google
up
item
right
right
now.
now.
But do you?
And why is Cumberland not on that list, Joe?
I don't know. It's all around it. Maybe the fly's out there.
We don't allow them in Cumberland.
They hit the
They hit that border.
that border and say, "Oh, we got
Oh,
to turn
oh,
around,
boy.
go turn around, and go back."
Entering Cumberland. Nope.
Did you know that the spraying was taking place in your town, Robin?
I did not know, but
Ah.
I'm wondering if I need to take cover and bring my
cover.
dogs inside.
Right.
Put the windows up.
Plants or anything like that.
and like that. So yeah, so it's supposed to take place starting today.
Well, that's going to be a problem, seeing as my air conditioning is out and all my windows,
Windows are open.
open.
Oh, that's right. That's not good.
Well, the
Not
good part
good.
is you won't have any lantern flies to worry about in the house.
You might as well just
True.
leave the windows open.
How great is that? So I woke up this morning. This is a weird thing to wake up to. When I woke up and I took a look at my phone, my police department had a like an all points bulletin. It was a shelter in place order
Really?
in a certain part of my town, not where I was.
Was that from the North Attleboro thing?
No, this was something else.
Oh, okay.
It said if you're at this street and this street and this street. I mean, it was lock your doors, lock your windows. There's gonna be a heavy police presence.
Oh boy.
Someone typed in afterwards. I said, I'm right on that corner of one of these two streets, and they said the SWAT team is here. There's a lot of dogs. There's a lot of people yelling and screaming outside.
Wow.
This is like at 1 or 2 in the morning, by the way. When there's
Wow.
helicopters overhead. I'm like, and then a few hours later, okay, it's been lifted.
So what was it?
Well, they haven't told you yet.
Really? I would think that would be
Well,
news.
It is, and this is the police department. They got to finish their investigation, and then we head it off to whoever's going to type out the press release, which is usually the low man on the totem pole
Yeah.
at the police department, and so they'll get around to typing it up and sending out to what happened.
Yeah.
But no, it's not part of what happened. The ammonia situation
Right,
in
North Attleboro.
In North Attleboro. Now, Tim, you're in the North Cumberland area on the
Yeah.
North Attleboro line. Is that area near you that you're aware of?
No, it's actually over more towards the Attleboro border.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of far away from us.
Well, that's good. So you didn't get
No.
evacuated.
Nope.
Like some people had to be evacuated.
Yeah,
Out
yeah.
of
Well,
their-
you know
out of
that
their
stuff's
homes.
that's nasty. That'll kill you.
Oh, that can kill. Yeah.
They got one person I think was in critical condition from it.
Yeah,
too.
seven people went to the hospital because of this.
Yeah.
I guess you breathe the stuff in,
Burns your lungs.
and it's not good for you. 6 workers suffered minor injuries, and one is in critical condition.
Yeah. Jeez.
And a worker accidentally cut a pipe in an industrial building. It's not like someone kicked something over,
Right.
but they cut a pipe and then poof.
Right.
It took place. Larson Way, I'm not sure where that is in North Attleboro. One nearby business was evacuated as a precaution. The ammonia was contained inside the building, so that's good. Firefish said there was no threat to the public.
Yeah.
So
Well,
scary though.
It's amazing how they've got those police notifications that happen. I subscribe to a thing called OnSolve, which is like an emergency notification network, mostly for weather. But we had a couple come in while we were on our cruise, and we're looking at it going, oh, I think it was heat advisory. You guys had a real bad heat wave at the
Yes.
beginning of that vacation.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot cooler in where we were either, by the way, and it was equally as humid. But yeah, I was just thinking it's a good thing the dog's not at our house or anything like that. So we had left the ACs on on a medium temperature just to keep the house somewhat cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was getting them in Europe. I'm like, oh, it's too bad. Whatever's going on in Cumberland.
It was up in the 90s,
Yeah,
and for a good 3 or 4 or 5 days there.
right.
Interesting. They get humidity there in over there as well. It's not
Oh, yeah.
not a dry heat in Europe.
Not a dry
right?
heat. Nope.
Okay.
It was. I was wet, hot, humid.
And how do they handle it over there? Do they do it differently
They don't
than
care.
we do? They don't know.
They don't. None of them look like sweat.
Summertime
I will
heat.
tell you, Europeans are skinny. There are
Yeah.
no fat Europeans. I've decided. Nobody looks like me out in Europe. That is
Because they're all
absolutely.
biking
shit.
and walking.
They're biking and
everywhere.
walking. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They eat lots of. I mean, we had carbs every day. It was carb heaven over there.
Lots of
Carb
breads
heaven and wine, bread and wine. It's what they serve.
Don't you think
Yeah.
it's also because their lifestyle, like you said, they're more relaxed?
They are
They're
definitely
not stressed
right.
as
Yeah,
much.
right. I would agree with that. It's just they get out and sweep and they're cleaning up the shop and they're putting the chairs out. Hey, it's 12 o'clock. I'm hungry. I need lunch.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do do we close down the shop to go for lunch?
No.
Oh,
That's
no.
what I'm saying.
Alright.
They're open up their lunch, and then you're sitting at the table, and then they're just taking their time serving you, and I'm like, can I have the check? I got to go to the next thing, and we are always in a rush.
Americans are always in a rush, and they're just not.
Nope,
Okay.
they are not. So it's all good.
So, do they have air conditioning?
The
in
hotels,
shops?
the hotels did.
Yeah.
Most of the shops had some level of air conditioning,
Okay.
but it's not like they have a lot of air conditioning in Europe. I don't think.
They just don't.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
just
something
doesn't
they
bother
want.
them.
No.
I don't think it bothers them.
Get a nice breeze off the Rhine.
Yeah, there's some nice days where the weather was great. We actually had great weather, and surprisingly enough, because it's not known for great weather. It's usually cloudy,
Yeah.
but it was very sunny. Most of the days we were there,
All
which
right.
made it even worse.
All right. Well, not only are we working on that new bridge in East Providence, at least trying to. RIPTA needs money to repair the tunnel that connects Providence and East Providence over there on the east side.
I thought they had that. Aren't they already doing it?
Well, it's taking longer and it's costing
Oh,
more.
shocking! Can't believe that happens.
Yes, that's so true. RIPTA board of directors has approved an additional $7.5 million
Yeah.
for the project, bringing the total cost over $23 million. I don't know what's wrong with this tunnel.
Wow.
Was it falling down?
I don't know.
aware.
You're not supposed to go. Nobody ever goes in it except the buses.
The
right?
buses, yeah. According to RIPTA, funding is being provided through Federal Transit Administration grants. The tunnel's 110 years old. It was closed in March. In the initial September completion date, no. Now we're moving it back to late October.
You know, it's weird. I've always seen the beginning of that tunnel in Providence.
And never the
Go up
end.
to I've never seen the end. I have no idea where it comes out.
I know. I was getting ready to say the same thing. Where does it come out? No one
It's
knows.
a tunnel to nowhere. You go in and
Well, the buses know, I guess. Huh?
buses no. But there's no stops in it, right? It just goes from one place to the other.
Yeah.
It prevents them from having to go up over the hill.
And deal with those hills.
Yeah.
And it's tough enough in a car.
Yeah.
Dealing with those
It's
hills.
true. That's true.
All right, we're going to take a look at the weather forecast right now and take a break on the Coffee and Program. And the forecast is being brought to you by FW Web.
Cloudy skies today and 80 degrees, a breeze from the south up to 21 miles per hour. A 50% chance of rain, up to a half an inch of rain is possible during the day today. Tonight, another chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, with an overnight low of 70 degrees. Thursday's weather mostly sunny with a high of 89. Friday mostly sunny and 89 again. Saturday partly sunny and 87. Sunday partly sunny and 84. Monday mostly sunny and 87. On Tuesday mostly sunny skies, 81.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with mostly cloudy skies. We have 82 humid degrees. Nobody beats FW Web for plumbing, heating, HVAC, refrigeration, pipe, valves, fittings, and more. Visit fwweb.com for a location near you.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. It's here. It's the 2024 Holy Trinity Parish Carnival on the parish grounds at Park Square in Woonsocket today through Saturday night. Relive memories, make new ones. Starts at 6 p.m. every night, plus a Saturday afternoon matinee. All your favorite parish games and Rockwell amusements nightly. Plus tonight, pay one price to ride all the rides tonight. Great food with Cuisine Ronaldo with all your carnival favorites, including dynamites and sausage sandwiches, plus Spanish cuisine and food trucks with Mickey G's clam cakes and chowder, alien ice, and bugged out barbecue. Fireworks Thursday night, classroom bingo, and live entertainment nightly. Get your tickets for the big drawings for 500 lottery tickets, split the pot, and the $10,000 raffle. Tickets available at the ticket office on the parish grounds. It's 4 nights and one great afternoon of summertime fun at the Holy Trinity Parish Festival through Saturday, August 3rd. Make your plans to be there.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I'd love to have you join me every Saturday for the Saturday Block Party. We start at 4 o'clock when I open up the ON Music Vault for you to pick whatever you want to hear or send to somebody special. Yes, the good old radio request days are back. Join me for the Saturday Block Party, Saturdays from 4 until 7 on ON Radio and streaming online at WoonsocketRadio.com.
And it's Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Robin Noter from the St. Antoine Communities, Tim Draper from Navigant Credit Union. And Tim, time for your first message from Navigant. Are you back into work mode?
No, not yet. No, I am. Email's finally caught up. You know what, Joe? I thought since we're talking a little bit about travel, I'll talk about one of the services that we offer at the credit union through our mobile banking and online banking, and that is our card controls. So when you travel to a different part of the country and you're outside of your normal spending patterns and you're trying to use your debit card, right? Sometimes you may get declined at a merchant. And it's not because your card's bad or you don't have money in your account, but it's because it's outside of what your normal patterns are. So the services are looking at that, and through AI and neural networking and all that other fun stuff in the background, they're saying, wait a minute, this may not be Tim. Why is all of a sudden he in Koblenz, Germany? That doesn't sound right. But what you can do is through card controls, using it through your online banking or mobile platform, you can set a travel alert.
Okay.
You can set a
I will be
guideline of,
away.
I will be in these countries
Yeah.
at these dates. Please make sure my card works. And
Can you send it to states too? Hey, I'll
yeah.
be in Colorado.
yep,
for
I'm
the
going to be in
next 2
Colorado
weeks.
for the next 2 weeks, and so I need to make sure that my
I
card
can
works out
access
there.
my money. Okay.
Right. So it's as simple as going in, and you're going to other services. I think that's the tab on online banking. And you look for card controls is the name of the service, and your debit card will usually pop up with a picture, and you just choose the card. If you got more than one card, you choose the one you want, and then you just put in your travel arrangements, and it will set it for you, and you're good to go at that point. And you should have no problems when you're in these different places. Now, if you don't have any money in your account, you're going to get an alert that you don't
That's
have any money in your account. But from a travel standpoint, it is a really good feature that our debit cards allow you to travel, and that doesn't necessarily happen here in the New England states. We're not worried about you going to Vermont and going to Ben and Jerry's and getting an ice cream with your debit card. But if you are in Utah or Arizona and you're not normally there, sometimes those things trip the network up and say, hey, listen, these guys not maybe who they say they are. So anyway, card controls, it is a feature and a service provided by Navigant Credit Union. So look it up on our website, navigantcu.org, or give us a call at the contact center, and they'll walk you through how to set them up.
Okay, very good. I was worried about that over this past weekend because I was up in North Conway, New Hampshire, and had to buy gas.
Yep.
And I'm like, I wonder if my debit
Yeah,
card's going
shouldn't-
to work. And it did. It worked just
Right,
fine.
right.
But a few years ago, I remember buying gas using a Capital One credit card. And before it approved on the pump, I got a message on my phone.
Right.
Are you trying to buy gas in...
Right.
I was right down the road from Ben & Jerry's, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And yes, that's me. Okay. And then it went through just fine.
Yeah.
So,
That-
nice
that-
little safety feature.
It is a safety feature. Is it sometimes inconvenient? Yeah, it can be
A
a pain
little
in the
bit,
neck.
yeah.
But you know what? It's better than losing all your money.
Right. And okay, so that's good.
And don't think that hasn't happened.
Oh, I'm sure it has. All right, other things going on. I found this a little bit amusing. There's a Massachusetts attorney and 3 others have been charged in a scheme to try to smuggle contraband into the Wyatt Detention Facility in Central Falls. A lawyer, Teresa DeJoseph, she's from Woburn, which is a long way from
that is a long way.
a long way from Central Falls, allegedly received papers soaked in synthetic marijuana from a prisoner in there and tried to give them. Got it from somebody, and then she tried to pass it on to the detainee
Is he going to smoke the paperwork?
or eat it.
Oh, maybe.
Or
Did you say soaked?
soaked? Yeah. Like you, take this 8.5 piece of paper, and we're gonna dip it in this solution,
And then,
dry it out,
and then she gave it to a.
and then here we go. We're going to pass it along. So I read a little bit more about this, and the attorney says, "Oh, I have to meet in this specific room. The other rooms make me uncomfortable, whatever that means." So we go to this specific room. In this specific room, there's no windows. There's no dividers between you and your client, because maybe they have to sign stuff. I don't know. So she specifically asked for this room. Of course, you're being watched the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know why they think
And now
they can
that
get away
so the people watching this, she's acting kind of suspicious, and I guess maybe she's passing papers to somebody, but he's not signing them. He's keeping them. And the other thing I also read about, that allegedly the prisoner was giving some papers back. The prisoner wanted her to go make sports bets for him.
Oh my gosh.
And she was, according to the indictments and stuff. It's charged. Yeah, all right, okay, take this, run over to a Lincoln,
Yeah.
and put $20 down on the Red Sox. I don't know what the bet is.
Wow.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah. What? Oh, man.
And she initially said, okay, you're from Woburn. Why are you coming down to visit this guy?
Yeah.
Like 4 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot. And her response to that was, well, I felt sorry for him.
Really?
Which is also now suspicious.
Right.
If that's your
Right.
reasoning.
Is
other
it- no,
than,
it's-
oh, no, it's a legal thing.
The Wyatt's a federal detention center, right? So
Yes.
prisoners come from all over to go in
Yes.
there. So could
Yes.
could that person have been from the Woburn area, and that lawyer maybe?
I guess so.
mean, it's the only reason I would
that
think
part
she
I
would be.
didn't read. But the correctional officers, they seized not just one paper seized in synthetic marijuana, 10
Well,
papers that appeared discolored, thicker than your normal paper, and consistent with paper that had been soaked and then hung up and dried. It's like you're making, almost like you're making counterfeit money with just hanging up to dry.
Right. Yeah. Don't do
It's
that.
like, you know,
I didn't know there was such a thing.
What?
synthetic
As
marijuana.
Synthetic
Yeah.
liquid marijuana.
Right.
I
Although-
guess there is.
Yeah. Things would surprise us.
Yes,
Things
make
would
it
surprise
easier to transport, I guess. And,
us. I don't know.
You don't have to worry about filling up the paper when you're rolling the cigarette. It's already
'Cause you just roll
it's
in the paper.
pre-rolled.
Just roll the
anyway.
paper.
That's right.
That's what I
Okay.
think.
All right. So up in Massachusetts, a little bit surprising, but up in Mass, some, not some, but the Massachusetts Restaurant Association, they do not want happy hour to come
Right.
back. They don't want the headache, I guess. And I'm thinking, well, you don't have to have happy hour at your establishment.
Right.
You don't want to
Just don't
have it,
have it.
just don't have it.
Right.
And leave it to the bars. There
Right.
are some bars that are just bars, don't serve food. Let them do it.
Right. I'm sure that the people who say I don't want to have it and then don't lose patrons to the bars that do, and they're just trying to say let's just keep this playing field level, so that if nobody does it, I'm not going to lose money over
Right.
it. You're not going to get extra money because of it. But
It-
I can see. You know what? That's point.
They don't come out and say, well, we're going to lose money, or if we'd have to have happy hour if we don't, like that. But they said, what they're really saying, well, we really want you to. They want the lawmakers to address their issues, which are not happy hour. They're more like we want relief from high operating costs and credit card processing fees.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, is it higher with different businesses, the credit card processing fees?
Not really. Credit card processing fees are credit card
Kind of
processing fees.
flat
Now,
right across the
they
board?
may be using a service that is specific to the restaurant business, and those fees might be different than those of a small mom and pop retail shop, for example. You know, somebody might be using Square versus somebody who's using Payrock or something like that, and those, but they're insignificant in terms of the costs generally between them. I mean, it's not like one is massively overcharging another, but they're processing fees that take place.
Do you think that the state can go to the credit card processing companies and say, please lower your fees?
I don't-
And they'll probably just say no
Yeah.
anyway.
No, I don't think they can. What
Okay.
will happen is likely the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, which has its hands in all kinds of stuff,
Mhm.
and there's an effort now actually to cap those fees for Visa and MasterCard. There was a law passed not too long ago that allowed merchants to charge more for credit. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these service fees now on top of your credit card transaction. It costs you $29.95, but we're charging a 3-cent surcharge for processing fees, because they're trying to capture those service fees.
I have
If you want to
seen
use
that.
if you want the convenience of card, you want to use your card as a
Yeah.
convenience method, then there's a cost to the convenience, is the way that merchants look at it and say that cost is whatever my expense is to pay for your transactions. Consumers are saying, oh, it's part of doing business. But then the merchants go, well, then we have to raise our prices, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a constant battle back and forth. It'd have to be regulated, I think, into existence. I'm sure credit card companies are not going to just generously go, well, we're going to lower our fees by,
Well, no.
25 basis points. But yeah, it's I guess it's all, a matter of perception. What side of that argument you're on.
I have seen that before in some retail establishments. If you're paying by credit card, okay, we get the 7% sales tax and then 3%
Right.
credit card processing fee.
Well, here's a perfect example. Cumberland Farms.
All right.
I'll throw them out there. They have that Smart Pay program
Yes,
where you
to
could
buy
attach it
gas.
to buy gas.
Yeah.
You get a 10-cent
Oh.
discount if you tie your checking account directly to that app.
Yes.
They're effectively eliminating the credit card transaction fees because they're not using a debit card or a credit card. So they're saying we'll pass the 10 cents on to you
Yeah.
if you use this app. And so that's what people are doing. That Shell, all the gas stations are
Have
doing it
something
now.
like
They have
it,
something like that. But Cumberland Farms, I think, was one of the original pioneers of that
Yeah.
discount for allowing us access to your checking account.
Target does that with the Target card.
Target card now does that too?
Yep, because I have the Target card and
Yep.
it's tied to my checking account, so I get 5% off every time I use it.
Yep. Yep. So
All right,
and it's because they're eliminating those fees that they would normally otherwise have if you used a debit card or credit card.
Are the credit card companies going to fight back against this? It looks like it's
Every day.
they're trying to be put out of business.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day they fight against it. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Lobbyists in Washington are
So
at it all the time.
This is unfair to us, kind
Right.
of thing.
Excuse me. The issue is for the financial institutions, credit card companies, is the whole idea of fraud, right? When somebody goes in and there's a data breach, and there's not a lot of recourse that the consumer has against the merchant whose system was breached to get all this information. But when somebody uses the card in a fraudulent transaction, the financial institution is generally the one that picks up replacing the money into the consumer's account because of the fraud. So if Tim Draper, and it's happened to me, I've got a $50 transaction. Let's say $1,000 transaction that took place on my account. Somebody stole $1,000 out of my account because they used my debit card somewhere else because of a fraud. I have my debit card with me, so I can prove I have it. Somebody used it. So I've got to file a police report. I've got to ask for them to go do an investigation. But then the credit union puts that money back into the account on a provisional basis and says, listen, we're gonna make you whole until this whole thing shakes out. And then if we recover some money, then we'll get that money back. But that's not just us. That's pretty much all financial institutions who are trying to do good things for their customers.
Right.
They're replacing the money that was stolen, as long as it's through one of these types of transactions and not something egregious that was the consumer's fault.
Yeah.
This is beyond the consumer's fault. But the merchants have no skin in the game there. They don't owe anybody any money. They're not paying any money back because it was their system that was breached that allowed the data from my card to be sold on the dark web, right? So we have to pay for that. And they're trying to cut back all of the money that the credit card companies and the financial institutions are trying to at least cover those expenses of those losses. And that's the big push in Congress right now, is that whole Dick Durbin had a bill out and a few years back that got passed that said if you're you can only charge X amount of cents on a transaction. They've limited the amount of interchange income institutions can get, and they want to limit it further.
All right. Target's doing that with their card. I'm surprised like a Walmart or Kohl's hasn't come out with something like that as well. Maybe they have.
Maybe they have.
And I'm
I
just
don't know.
not aware of it. All right, let's take another break here on the Coffee and program. So, Tim, time for a second message from Navigant Credit Union.
All right, Joe, whether you're thinking about buying your first home, refinancing, or borrowing money to make your home improvements, we have the loan that's right for you. Our mortgage and home equity loans come with competitive rates, terms, and are backed by our knowledgeable specialists. It's just the thing to make you feel right at home. And if you're wondering what kind of loans that we have our traditional mortgage loans, which are fixed rates or adjustable rate mortgages, anywhere up to 30-year terms. We have first-time home buyer loans. So if you're looking at your first house and you need a little help in terms of education or a rate, we have some classes, and we'll put you in a special program for that. Our New Beginning Mortgages makes home ownership possible for everybody. So if you've had a tough time in the past, maybe you've gone through a tough financial situation, we'll take a look at that, and we will potentially put you in this New Beginnings mortgage so you can go out and purchase that home. We have VA loans, FHA loans, jumbo loans, which are larger mortgage loans. And our construction loan program is probably one of the leaders in the industry because it's a one-time close. If you find a house, you find a piece of land, you want to build a house, you get your mortgage, you sign for it, you do all the paperwork for it, you do it all one time. It locks you in on your rate, and then when the construction loan is closed, we just roll it into a regular traditional fixed-rate mortgage. So lots of good options there, and we hope that you'll give us a call, 233-4700. Talk to either one of our mortgage specialists or anybody in the contact center, and they can direct you in the right direction.
All right, there, Tim. Thanks. More of the Coffee and program coming your way. Please stay tuned.
Hey, Red.
Who? Me?
Your face is beet red and you look like you're gonna pass out.
Well, I'm a little dizzy, but working outside in this heat, what are you gonna do?
You're in danger of heat exhaustion, my friend. And if you want to finish up this job today and get paid, you need to take a break in the shade and drink some water. Now, got it?
Yeah, but I gotta.
You gotta stay safe and healthy to stay on the job, right?
That's true.
A message from the Rhode Island Department of Health and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
It's here. It's the 2024 Holy Trinity Parish Carnival on the parish grounds at Park Square in Woonsocket today through Saturday night. Relive memories, make new ones. Starts at 6 p.m. every night, plus a Saturday afternoon matinee. All your favorite parish games and Rockwell amusements nightly. Plus tonight, pay one price to ride all the rides tonight. Great food with Cuisine Ronaldo with all your carnival favorites, including dynamites and sausage sandwiches, plus Spanish cuisine and food trucks with Mickey G's clam cakes and chowder, alien ice, and bugged out barbecue. Fireworks Thursday night, classroom bingo, and live entertainment nightly. Get your tickets for the big drawings for 500 lottery tickets, split the pot, and the $10,000 raffle. Tickets available at the ticket office on the parish grounds. It's 4 nights and one great afternoon of summertime fun at the Holy Trinity Parish Festival through Saturday, August 3rd. Make your plans to be there.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Robin Noter from the St. Antoine Communities, Tim Draper from Navigate Credit Union. And here's something you shouldn't do. Little PSA. A man in Lowell, Massachusetts has been arrested for operating under the influence twice in a 77-hour period.
Wow.
He took a day off. Police say 40-year-old Cesar de Souza Contino was first arrested for OUI last Wednesday on July 24th and was released without bail the following day. Then on July 28th, he was arrested for OUI after stopping at a blinking red light for 15 seconds, and then he drove into a curb. He was released again on conditions that he not drink
Wait,
or drive.
he stopped at a blinking red light. Aren't you supposed to stop at a blinking red
Yes,
light?
but not for 15 seconds.
Well, if there was
If
traffic,
well, I think you got to assume there was no traffic.
and then he
coming
maybe
the
just
other
cut the
way.
corner a little too hard. Hit the curb. I've done that.
Well, the police stopped
And
him
not-
and said,
okay.
a little breathalyzer.
Okay, but here's the thing. They let
breathalyzer
him
for
go
you.
twice.
Twice.
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
other thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing probably is more disturbing about the story is they let him go twice.
All right, let's see. Other things. Catching any of the Olympics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Last night was great.
yeah. I saw some swimming last night.
Swimming last night.
saw
There
some
was
gymnastics
Yep.
last
And the
night.
night before was the men's gymnastics, and I love the kid from Stoughton, he's got one job at the Olympics. It's
What is it?
it's the pommel horse.
Okay.
That's his routine.
He doesn't know anything else.
Stephen Nuttawachi or something like that. I forget his name. He wears glasses.
Yeah.
He does not look like a gymnast in the least.
Really?
But he takes off his glasses and he looks at that pommel horse, and he jumps on it and just does an unbelievable routine.
yeah.
But they're saying that he does no other. There's no
That's it.
there's no bar. There's no rings. There's no.
Is he
vaults.
autistic?
No,
No. Okay.
nope. He is just really good at the
concept
pommel
of
horse.
horse.
He's like the cleanup hitter, and
Yeah.
this is his job is to get on that pommel horse and not
So
mess
no,
up.
No floor exercise.
Nope.
No horizontal
Nope.
bar.
Nope. His one job. He watched all his teammates go through their 4 rotations of all their different exercises as he sat on his bench and looked at the pommel horse. They kept showing him sitting on the bench, focused, and he got on it, and wouldn't you know, nailed it.
Yeah.
And then they got the bronze, which to me was a surprise. I thought for sure they would have gotten higher than that, but
Yeah.
they because they were pretty good.
Watching any of it, Robin?
No.
No?
But when I do like the gymnastics, and then I like the winter, the ice skating.
I know I like the
Okay.
Winter Olympics too. That's actually my favorite Olympics. I like the Winter Olympics.
Although I do like the track and field, although the track and field hasn't started yet.
Right.
And,
That's usually week 2. They get
yeah,
they
week
get all
2.
the gymnastic stuff out of the way.
Although it's funny because I'm watching it on NBC and then but if you flip over to the other and I don't have Paramount, so I can't stream
Yeah.
it, but USA is running some stuff, so they got your it's gonna sound bad, but your third-rate sports.
Right, the
And
stuff
when
that doesn't.
When I flipped over,
table tennis.
I saw China win the table tennis gold.
Listen.
Did you say table tennis doubles?
It was mixed doubles.
Mixed? Oh my god!
It was table
How do you
tennis
do
Oh, I
that?
should
mixed
have watched
doubles.
that. I love ping pong.
Oh,
and,
what-
and China won.
Yeah, but it's Robin. They have how how big the ping pong table is, right? Not
Yeah.
I
very
have one in my garage.
big. Play doubles on that.
Yeah.
You get
Oh, yeah.
2 people at the end, and they're
And
those
they're
things
like
are
10 feet back.
and they're
Oh, yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
Oh my good lord, that's unbelievable.
And it's weird how they can serve it. They
Right.
bounce it off their head. And
My favorite thing is they have they have. I think Colin Jost is in Tahiti at the surfing event.
Okay.
So the surfing event, which is an event in the Olympics, which I apparently did
Can't
not
have it
know.
in Paris.
Can't have it in Paris on the Seine. That's not a very wavy body of water. So they're actually in Tahiti. And so
Okay.
he's in Tahiti doing the commentary on the surfing, which I think is
Okay.
wild. Yeah,
The other sport I saw that USA was showing was archery,
archery.
and boy, they're good.
Yeah,
Everything's a bullseye.
right.
Not everything. So some are a little off, but the size of the bow and the strength to hold that thing back
And be steady.
and be steady. And then they showed it in slow motion, and the arrow kind of arcs. It doesn't
Yeah.
go really straight. It arcs up and it's wavering.
Yep.
But it hits right where they want it to go.
Yeah.
It's like wow, that is so impressive.
There's some interesting sports in the Olympics. I have to say, and they never really show them. Like I want to watch the pole vaulting, and they don't really spend a lot of time on
like
pole
that.
vaulting.
I like water polo.
God, can you imagine
that
what
is
kind of
such a-
shape you have to be in to
I
play
know.
water polo?
It's unbelievable. And sometimes they show it. They put the camera under the water.
Yeah.
And that's where the real battles are going on.
Oh yeah.
The kicking and the
Oh, yeah.
pushing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's craziness under the water to get to the ball. What I did find out about water polo, in case when the ball goes down to one end, of course the goalie's at the other end, they hop up and sit on their goal in order to rest. So they're
Really?
not treading water
For
all
nothing.
the time.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So they sit until the ball starts to come back. Okay, we hop back in the water. But yeah,
Wow.
the goalies rest on the goal. I said, oh, they learned something new.
There you go.
All right, so enjoy the Olympics as it keeps going on over there in Paris. Californians have the most aggressive drivers. Are you surprised?
No.
This according to Forbes magazine. They do things like cut people off, they tailgate, and they block others from merging into traffic. Kind of like around here.
I was
gonna
going to
say,
say
it
it's
sounds
got to
like
be
Rhode
like a
Island.
new. Yeah, it does sound like Rhode Island. New York for sure.
No, Forbes says that California commuters, they're the worst.
All right. Well,
It's the frequency, I guess. They do it.
California's where they should have
a
a lot
lot.
of public transportation. That's where they
They
should
should
have
have a
trains and
lot.
stuff.
But they don't, do they?
No.
No. All right. Younger workers are far more likely to support unions, but they're also uncertain about them. Does that make sense?
It does, I think, because they're always concerned about the man, always taking the money.
A new report out from University of California, San Diego School of Global Policy and Strategy. The report is published by the Economics Policy Institute. It identifies three major shifts among U.S. workers. There's a recent marked decline in opposition to labor unions. There is a rise of workers who are interested in but not unsure about unions. There's an emerging generation gap in attitudes toward unionization. However, the authors say while unions are more active and interest is rising, membership in unions continues its 45-year decline.
It costs a lot of money to be in union.
Yes. And I've talked to some of my daughter's friends, and all go out and getting their first jobs. And some of them get their first jobs at, and I just say this because they're unionized, Stop and Shop. And then they get their first paycheck. Hey,
Yeah.
taxes and Social Security,
Union
and
dues.
union dues,
Right.
and it's just you got to pay it.
Right.
And some of them, if they don't get enough hours, they're taking home basically nothing because they haven't put in enough hours, but the union due stays the same.
See the same. Right.
They're not happy with that
Right.
at all.
Well, the problem is you got to remember that the unions take that dues, and not only do they pay their
supposed to
top
help
echelon,
them,
but they're
yeah.
supposed to advocate, and then that
Advocate
means
for you, yeah.
that means political action, that means lobbying, that means lots of money for politicians. That's what that means. And so all those dollars that they pay, if they want to have the protections of having a job and job security and
Yep.
benefits, that's the price you pay for that.
Most of them are saying, "I should have done what you did to my daughter, who works at a Dunkin' Donuts, not unionized,
Yeah.
and so she doesn't have to pay any of those union dues and
Right.
gets tips." So
Gets tips, but she doesn't have any of the protections of
no, they
the
can let her. They
unions.
can let her go at any time.
Right.
She can also quit at any time.
Right.
That she likes. So there you go. And okay, one more story. A woman attacked with a shovel in Fresno, California, is expected to survive. Yikes. She took a friend to her ex-boyfriend's home to drop off some things, and that's when it turned violent. Police say the man began beating them both right in front of neighbors. At least one person tried to intervene, but it was too late for the friend, who died at the hospital. Someone died. Wow. Police are still piecing together what led up to the assault. Imagine getting that. I'm thinking like a dirt shovel, not like a snow shovel.
Yeah.
No need for a snow shovel in Fresno. Come
Right.
on.
Right.
So that's one of them steel spaded,
spade. Yep,
shovels.
that'll do it.
That's gonna.
It's like hitting the head with a frying pan.
That's gonna cause some serious pain right there. All right, and let's see. Anything else? That Andy Warhol picture of Debbie Harry is going up for auction. In case you were wondering, it's gonna sell for millions. So
Really?
got nothing but it. Yeah. He created it on a 1985 Commodore computer.
Wow, a
That
VIC
goes
64.
way back.
I remember those.
And he was a brand ambassador at the time for the computer company and used an Amiga 1000 to show off what the tech could do.
Wow.
And that was cutting edge.
It was cutting edge. He was on the edge. He was on the edge on a lot of things.
Andy? Yes, he was. All right, that'll do it for the show for today. We thank you very much for listening in, of course. And Tim Draper, thanks for coming in.
Joe, thanks for having me. And everybody go out there and enjoy the God-given day.
All right. And Robin Noter from San Antonio Communities, thanks for coming in.
No, thank you for having me again.
All right. I'm Joe Callahan. Enjoy the day, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and crew. Do you remember is coming up next?
Watch
here
out for the lantern flies.
on ON Radio. Robin's going to be freaked out all day now.
I am. I'm going to go home and look for these
Sorry
flies.
about that, Robin.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
The Rhode Island State Police Financial Crimes